Alrighty. Welcome back to the adventures of MSKain, now with a totally different game. This is AD&D's Pool of Radiance, the first of the Gold Box games. Oh yeah, this is old. This is 30 years old this year. 30-year-old game here. The very first of the Gold Box series of it was the very first video game, not the first D&D video game, because they had a couple of the arcade things that Japan made, but this is the first game that actually uses real D&D rules. Yep, so going to go ahead and I'll start the countdown. We'll begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So right off, this game has no sound. I've turned the sound off because it induces a huge amount of lag, and there's no background music. The background music you're hearing is just some music I've got playing from some other source, just to add a little bit of ambience, because otherwise it gets very boring without sound, I think. Even, just the sound of my voice is pretty bad. But even the little bit of clicks and beeps you get from walking slow the game down greatly, and they don't offer very much. This is just so archaic. So we turn the sound off. That'll save us a lot of time. First thing, we've got a party that we need to equip. This takes place in the universe of Forgotten Realms, one of the more popular D&D universes. It's on the north of the Moonsea, near the Dale Lands, in the city of Flan. I hope I didn't buy those. That's bad. Just a loss of the gold, though. It's nothing super big, just loss of time, mostly. And the city of Flan has been a history of being a prosperous nation that keeps getting overrun with monsters. It was destroyed for the latest time, a couple hundred years ago, overrun by monsters. But now a group of humanoids have regathered to try and take the city back. And we are amongst the adventurers being hired as mercenaries to try and retake the city and refound it as reestablish it as one of the great cities of the middle of the continent of Faerun. Yeah, that is exactly the case. The game basically shuts itself down to load up the sounds every time it has to play a sound, so it goes very fast relatively, but it eats up a lot of time overall. Okay, no problem. I'll cut that down a little then. Not quite used to this one. Oh, that's getting very loud, yeah. There we go. How about that? That better? Now I've forgotten what I bought. Just the longsword. Okay. So I have a very specific party here. This game is unique in a lot of ways. It uses, or at least something very unusual to people who aren't used to very old-time D&D. If you've never played old-time D&D... Oh, I forgot to buy a bow for him. It's relatively bad. Does no good to have arrows if you don't have a bow to shoot them with. Okay, now he's good. Oh, you ready that. Not that it matters. So first ed D&D rules were really, really strange. Among other things, the rules were both racist and sexist. And I mean that quite literally. Humans are... Oh, I forgot to equip the rest of my guys, too. That's kind of bad. Never get to equip him. Luckily, you can equip anything in the middle of combat. Let's see, done speed faster. We're not going fast enough. It always starts at speed 1, and there's a better speed. Also... Okay, you're equipped. Good thing we surprised the orcs. That means we get to go first and put on our armor. Yeah, I forgot to ready my arrows and my banded mail. Okay, now we're going. Yes. Yes, this game features Theka, which is actually a second edition thing, but they used it in this because it's easier to understand than first edition's stat system. And there are some differences, but mostly it's in maximum differences. Like, they have this, first of all, they have this really weird thing called exceptional strength. And if you don't know what first and second ed and exceptional strength is, there's no way to describe it except for a stupid, overly complicated thing to try and make fighters more appealing. But if you have an 18 strength and you're a fighter, you get to roll for exceptional strength from 1 to 100. And if you're not a fighter and you have an 18 strength, you don't get that. And if you're a fighter and you have less than an 18 strength, you don't get that. So only maximum level fighters get any care out of having exceptional strength. And humans max out at 18,100, while most other races, like half-elves, max out at 1890, elves at 1875, even dwarves and half-orcs max out at 1899. So humans, and that difference between 100 and 99 is 1 to hit and 1 damage. Oh yeah. So having a non-human fighter is just inefficient, and females have an even bigger strength deficit. Non-human females can't get more than a 17 strength, and even female humans can only get an 1850 strength. So it's just sadly most of the time doesn't make sense to do anything but human males, with the exception that non-human races can be multi-class, which allows them to do all sorts of things. They can be like, I have two oh, I'm not doing that right at all, though. Now it's too late. We'll just kill him. But non-humans can be 2 classes at once in a multi-class system. Yeah, well, in this game, you need to min-max. Actually, there's a weird feature in this game. First of all of these things do make a difference because the game, when you first create characters, it actually allows you to modify your character stats. And the reason for this that is given is that they want you to be able to, you can make your characters just like your real life characters. So you can set them all to those stats, you know, and have the feeling that you're playing your favorite D&D character in the game. Well, since you can modify them to whatever you like, though, why wouldn't you just maximize them to the very highest level so that you can get through the game, especially on a speedrun where you need to go fast? Very well could have. This engine was very, it was used for a lot of games. So, and the other thing about first edition D&D is that you need your stats min-max to be effective. In the later editions, they smoothed things out, so a 12 was better than a 10, and, you know, so you didn't have to have maximum stats to still feel effective. But in first edition, if you had a 12, it was no better than a 10. If you had a 15, it was usually no better than a 10. It's really hard to do anything without the maximum stats possible, without very high stats, so... I actually need to memorize now. Yep. Exactly. So if you want to play it casually, you can, you know, try to go with regular stats. You'll find the going difficult. You can. I mean, there are harder difficulties than this, but definitely for a speedrun, there's no point in trying to play the game quote-unquote legitimately. Because, I mean, a speedrunner's just going to reroll stats until they get max anyway, right? Or at least until they get the stats they really want. So it's easier just to set them to highest level and therefore take advantage of things. There's a lot of, actually, you're seeing here a really good mechanic in the game. There's actually a morale system. As enemies are defeated, they may break in morale, they will run away, and preferably, they may even just surrender outright, and you get the experience and loot from them, but you don't have to fight them anymore. Yep. First Ed D&D was a very harsh time in the way of gaming systems. And it's on full display here. Goblins are good because we can take arrows from goblins, which means we don't have to buy more arrows. We can also outfit the rest of our party members in bows, which we didn't have money for initially. The one thing they don't let you edit, interestingly, is money, so that is the thing that you want to maximize if you're re-rolling characters. That's what you're actually shooting for, is more money. So anyway, my party consists of 4 human fighters, 2 half-elf fighter mages, and 1 half-elf cleric mage. I don't really use the cleric very much. Mostly there's 1 or 2 places where... there are a couple of places where maybe a hold person spell is okay, and I use detect magic a little bit. I could probably trade them out for something else, but having the detect magic, if nothing else, is very useful for a few places, so I don't have to try and spend several seconds remembering what loot is magical and what isn't. You cast detect magic, it tells you what's magic, you grab the magic and go. There's so much loot otherwise that it's hard to sort through it all, because for the most part, in this game, you can loot everything that the enemy carries. Yep. Oh, he took damage, so he can't cast. Such a pain. Now, first level magic users are actually really powerful in this game because they start with the sleep spell, which is really, really broken in first ed D&D, at least at low levels. It quickly becomes outdated because it only affects monsters of up to a certain amount of hit dice, but at low levels it'll do an entire 3x3 square, and most of the time get every single one of them. There's no saving throw. They will just get put to sleep, and at which point they're helpless. And in this game, a helpless enemy will automatically be one-shot by any attack. Yep, there are a few games I'm using. So 3 human fighters, 2 half-elf fighter mages, a half-elf fighter cleric. They all have uses. I need to rest for 4 days to get my hit points back, because you only recover 1 hit point a day. I could cast spells, but it takes a lot longer to memorize and recast the spells than it does to actually just rest. I believe that they are, yes. But only regular elves are. Half-elves are not. You can put your own party members to sleep, so you have to be careful of where you drop the spells. But especially since, again, anything that makes you helpless, hold person, stinking cloud, sleep, that causes you to... that makes you get one shot by anything. If we put a 21 hit point ogre to sleep, and I have a normal wizard, first level wizard with darts, and she throws 1 dart at it that can do 1 to 3 points of damage, it's guaranteed to one-shot the ogre if the ogre is asleep. So having the sleep spell is the most OP thing in the game. You don't start with magic missile, but really you don't want magic missile. You want sleep. So that's OP spell. Having 2 fighter mages gives me twice as much sleep to use. I have 3 normal fighters because they take less experience, they'll level up faster, and they'll be able to serve as my meat shields. Experience is at a premium in this game, so I have to be careful with it, but normal mages are kind of weak, so having fighter mages who can also fight while being able to cast spells. I used to, on my original strats, I tried to have a normal human mage and get to level 5 to learn Fireball for one particular fight. But it turns out that there are other sources of Fireball that are faster to get than leveling a mage to level 5. So I've cut that out, and I just used 2 fighter mages for twice the sleep, and still enough offensive power to take out most enemies very easily. Because the sleep spells in Stinking Cloud are much more useful than most of your damage spells for most of the game. 1 sleep spell is probably enough for this battle. We're going through them fast. And again, the cleric is just a little bit of healing sometimes in an emergency, and the detect magic mostly, and occasionally hold person or silence 50-foot radius. And once again, the cleric especially would gain too much experience too fast, in a bit of irony that's hard to understand, especially if you don't have experience with it. But in this game, when you gain experience, you don't just level up automatically. Join, that's what I'm trying to do. You have to go to the training hall and pay 1,000 gold to level up. Furthermore, adding insult to grievous injury, if you happen to have more experience, enough experience to level up more than one level, they will put you at a cap experience of one less than your next level after you gain your first level. So you can't even gain, store up and gain multiple levels at once. You have to return to town rapidly, frequently to get your proper levels. And a cleric would actually gain experience too fast from my first slums trip and would lose experience from leveling up. So being a fighter cleric doesn't put them behind too much, and they can actually use ranged weapons and swords, because multi-classes in this game get all the benefits of both classes. My fighter magic users are wearing plate mail, which is unheard of in later editions of D&D. They can wear plate mail, they can cast spells, doesn't matter. Same with the cleric, can wield long swords and everything else. Orc is running away. Orc doesn't get shot. Come on, either run away or get shot. Okay, good. Orcs, for some reason, do not have any equipment, and I don't know why. I need to do 15 encounters here. There are a certain number of quests in the game, which aren't really assigned out or put in any kind of journal. You don't need to even accept a quest in order to be able to complete it, as it were. But they are the main source of experience. You don't get much experience from combat in first edition. Most of your experience actually comes from collecting treasure, and that includes treasure you find on monsters and treasure given out as a quest reward, basically. So that's where most of our experience is. I get a lot of experience for clearing out the slums. It takes a little while. Most of the game is actually clearing out the slums here, but it gives me the experience I need to get started, and it also gives me a safe haven where I can rest. Once I've cleared out the slums, I can rest anywhere in the slums without any incident, and it's really great. Who needs to go to an inn and pay a platinum when you can just walk 10 feet, go to the slums, and sleep in the hallway for 5 days at a time? Yes, that is the case. This is the old school games where, your journal quest log is whatever notes you write down as you're playing the game. That is exactly correct. Back in my day when we played RPGs, we didn't have any fangly-dangly maps and navigation systems and quest logs and all that stuff. Yeah. So anyway, in order to clear out the slums, there are a certain number of set places I need to... set encounters I need to defeat, and I have to defeat 15 random encounters, and the random encounters will cease. So this is the worst part of the run, because it's just a slow grind getting these guys, and they're not worth hardly any experience. The experience from these fights is pretty negligible. I'm getting like 20 to 30 experience a battle, and I need 2,000 to level up, or 4,000, 5,000 in the case of the fighter mages. So it's very little benefit to me for the most part, but the thing is that getting the quest done is where it gets important. Fighting goblins is always nice because of the arrows. And I didn't get any for them. Okay. I should almost have enough arrows now for... Let me go ahead and cast Cure Light Wounds. Didn't get super lucky, but got pretty lucky. Cure Light Wounds is your only healing spell in the game, and it cures 1 to 8 hit points, period, and that's it. We should be pretty close to 15 now, I think. I always lose track. Yeah, and the best part is that it has to be platinum. If you have like 100 gold, they won't let you sleep at the inn. You have to have a platinum. So you can't even go to the inn at the start of the game and rest in the inn to memorize your spells. That's why I didn't bother to do it until I went to the first encounter. It's too much trouble to worry about going to the inn and paying for it. Now, your money does get changed to platinum once you buy something in a shop. It will always change your money automatically for you to the highest possible denominations. Platinum first and foremost, so that's convenient, but otherwise it's a painful experience. That might be enough arrows for now. Let's see. There. White, please. Thank you. 2 easy sleep spells, and this fight's as good as one already. So again, just some first edition AD&D rules. Again, the reason exceptional strength, the difference between an 18 strength and an 18-100 strength. An 18 strength gives you +1 to hit and +2 damage with melee weapons. An 18-100 strength gives you +3 to hit and +6 damage. So those big, huge spat boosts at high levels, but you get nothing from... you get 1 point of damage at level 16 and nothing to hit. And you get 1 to hit and 1 damage at 17. It's, like, absurd. I didn't actually memorize it, though I tried to rest. Oops. Oh well. We surprised them, so we're going through them like hot knives through butter anyway. There's actually a lot of goblins I fought, too. This is probably more arrows than I need. Yep, I should be fine on arrows for the rest of the game. Definitely getting tired. Forgetting to rest after sleep. Surprised by some orcs, that's not good. One of the reasons, too, why I like to do the grinding now is that just get it all done and over with, is that if you come back at higher level and you haven't cleared out all the random encounters, they will actually get stronger. They'll have more enemies in them, and the orcs will, for instance, include orc leaders and such things. And so we definitely want all the weaker... There's no point doing it now. All the weaker... we want our random encounters to be as easy as possible. This is a pretty bad grind overall. My gold time on the grind split is about 18 minutes, and we're at 22 already. Part of it's because I'm not working totally optimally, but even so, by 20 minutes is generally a pretty good time to finish the grind. I call it a grind, but it's encounter grinding rather than experience grinding. But I think I'm done. I put on search command. It takes 10 minutes to move a square, but you have a much higher chance of finding something, including monsters. So at this point, no more encounters. We're done with the grind. So now we have to just clear out the encounters in the slums, starting here. We can cast a Bless spell to give us a bit of a buff before we fight these orcs. Have our magic users wait until the orcs gather up. Luckily, they have huge amounts of monsters in rather tight corridors, so they all can't do anything. Oh, you weren't supposed to do that. Oh well. I need to delay with him, not quick. So he was on somebody else. Luckily, I can just blame it being 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 or whatever it is. Okay. Pop this square. well, right there is fine. Alright, this is an important encounter because we're going to get our first magic weapons here. And one of the primary reasons I have a cleric with the Detect Magic spell. I could also have magic users with Detect Magic, but then I couldn't cast Sleep. And clerics are the only ones who get bonus spells for stats in 1st edition for some reason. Mages, who are useless without them, do not get any bonus spells. So, Detect... Take, let's see, red gets a broadsword and chainmail, blue gets a broadsword, green gets a broadsword, and silver gets a flail, because magic items with +1 to hit are definitely better DPS, period. +1 chainmail is the same as banded mail, but it allows you to move faster. Also, theoretically gives resistance to spells. I think +1 armor was supposed to give bonus to saving throws as well back in the day. I know Rings of Protection did. Or at least we're supposed to if the rules were implemented properly. So here we use search to find some treasure, including magic shortbow and magic arrows, which actually I could give them to the other guy too. It's one of the reasons why I buy shortbows rather than longbows. They're cheaper, and I'm going to get magic bows anyway. Here's a fairly easy room of kobolds. They have bracers, which would be important if I had regular magic users, but since I don't, it's just super self-fodder. Bracers sell for more money than anything else in the early game, and it basically means I have no money troubles keeping my characters trained. In the early game, bows in the 1st edition AD&D, ranged weapons often have as fighters would level up, they get bonus attacks per turn, similar to how they do in later editions. But ranged weapons always have a set amount of attacks per turn, and bows attack twice. So, especially in the early game when you're low level, bows are extremely useful for dealing damage, even though you don't get any bonus damage from them for your high strength. The fact that you can attack twice a turn against these weak monsters with 3 hit points means that you can kill 2 a turn if you get lucky, which is pretty handy. Plus, you know, you don't have to chase the enemy down. So the AI is not good at chasing down enemies. They get stuck a lot. But using the AI in combat is generally a lot faster than trying to do it yourself. Yeah, you already did it with him. You get yours. This is a super easy fight, but, you know, I know it's there, so... You have to search for the loot after the battle. Here's a 3rd magic shortbow, as well as a Ring of Protection +1, which I'll just put on, doesn't matter who, anybody could use it except for the first guy. Rings of Protection stack with armor in 1st edition if you do not have magic armor. If it's normal armor, you get the Ring of Protection bonus, otherwise you don't. Although I think you get the saving throw bonus. Now I'm actually a little bit... I almost got lost. Okay, cast Bless again. This is one of the longer, more annoying fights of the slums. I have no thief because there's no real good use for thieves in the any % speedrun anyway. Because any locked doors, my 18-100 strength fighters are just as good at bashing them down as the thief would be at picking. Better even. They have like a 90% chance of bashing down a locked door. A thief has That's per character, and we all get a try. While the thief has like only a 20% chance of picking locks at first level in first ed. It's pretty pathetic. Low level thieves are really, really useless. And there really are no places in the game where I go where I have to worry about traps or anything else. So having a thief is pointless. If I were to run this 100%, there are enough areas where, yeah, this is one of the smaller armies. There are a couple of fights that are much worse than this coming up that we'll have to do. The nice thing is that that it is such narrow corridors that they can't all get at us at once. Small favors, but they do have archers in the back that are peppering us and doing some damage, which is mean. What's really hilarious is that there is a group of monsters in that side room where some of them are running into up above. That's where my next encounter is. But each combat map is independent of each other, so even though technically these orcs are running around where this ogres and gnolls should be, they're not part of the battle because, you know, old video game combinations. Hopefully we'll get some surrenders. The more I adjust my party, it's a weird thing about my speedrun. One of the problems I've had with playing around with my routes is that it seems like the more I change the route, the more likely I am for monsters to flee and panic instead of just surrendering when they get low on morale. Which is rather annoying because fleeing enemies you have to chase down and beat rather than just removing them from combat. I don't know what the plans the Marathon has for reposting the runs. Luckily, a lot of surrenders. No good loot here. Ooh, gonna have to rest for a while. Let's go ahead and have you save us a few days at least, hopefully, for green. 4 points. Okay, that's better than nothing. Less cure. Let's see. I own 7 days. 7 days of rest. Yeah, some of us have been staying up very long hours so we can be part of this late night run. Now, am I going to get lucky? I think I'm going to get lucky. Ogre falls asleep. Battle 1. Ogre just got one shot by a 1 point of damage arrow. Maybe 6 points. No good loot here either. It's just an encounter we had to do to clear out. Okay, one encounter left for this section of the slums. Then I'm going back to town to rest. This isn't as dangerous a fight as it used to be. When I used my old route and had a regular mage, this was a really nasty fight because all of these goblin leaders have arrows and bows that they would often shoot at and kill my poor mage, or at least put her unconscious, which made it difficult. But with 2 fighter mages, they're not in as much danger, plus I have 2 sleep spells, so I can put them all to sleep and clean them out easy. One of the interesting ways in which this is a oddly kind D&D game, one of the things they decided to do with the rules themselves is to add unconsciousness rather than, because first and second D&D were both super brutal. You reach 0 hit points, you're dead. You have to be raised. That's it, period. It's Planescape Torment, Baldur's Gate, you play those games, same thing. You reach 0 hit points, you're dead, better get resurrection or reload. However, SSI, who created this game, decided to keep after their own gaming system and allow you to go unconscious. At 0 hit points, you're unconscious. If you go -1 to -9, you're dying, but not dead. and you can use an action in combat to bandage a dying character, and that stabilizes them, as they would say in newer editions of D&D, so that they aren't going to bleed out. And you have to go all the way to -10 for a character to actually die. So it's surprisingly kind gesture from a D&D style game to add a rule like that. Okay, magic shield. Okay, we're done here. I already rested. Oops. Now I'm going to go back to town. As I say, if I gain any more experience, I'll end up losing it because of the weird way training works in this game, so I need to run home and rest. And I also want as many levels as possible before the final fight in the slums, which is, in a word, brutal. Now, I need to identify something to spend my money. Now, how much money do I have? 98 platinum. Who has the bracers? I thought I gave them to White. I did. Sell for 6,000 gold. That's fine for now. We'll share. Okay, now I can go level my fighters up. And my cleric. Also, each character class has their own thing. Has their own different place to train at. You can hire guys here. It's actually semi-useful. I haven't really taken advantage of it yet, but I'm looking into it. You can actually hire like 4th level fighters if you get lucky. Because it's random which adventurers are available for hire. They can be expensive, but there are a couple fights they can be very useful in. Okay, this is the Rope Guild, the dangerous area. I have 2 things to do here. First of all, I have a quest which I totally accepted from a mage in the slums. He wants me to go retrieve his potion of youth or something. So we tell him that Olo sent us. He totally did, even though we've never spoken to him. And we get a package to deliver to Olo. That'll get us some loot and experience. And then we have the final encounter here in the slums. I always get lost in the Rope Guild. Okay, here we are. This is actually the very worst fight in the game, relative to the level you have to take it on at. And how difficult it is. This is a murderous encounter. Four trolls and 2 ogres. This is not a fight I want to auto because I want to be very deliberate in who I attack. Oh, blast. That's not good. For sleep to fail on the ogres is... Oh, geez. Both of them? Ah. Already taking damage, too. This is brilliant. Okay, well. This fight is... This is actually the worst fight in the game relative to the difficulty of the level. It's horrible. I want to keep you pelting away at trolls. Trolls regenerate. Trolls, and they will actually stand up in the game, too. Oh, yay. 1 troll down. If you stand where they are, they can't get up, or if you kill them with fire, but we really don't have access to fire at this point. Red's already really down. Yes, they regenerate 3 hit points around, and They have 36 hit points, an armor class of 4, which is much better than anything. They get 3 attacks, some of which can do up more than 10 points of damage. So, luckily there are a lot of strategic commands you can use in this game, including guard. When you guard, you end your turn, and the first time an enemy comes up next to you, you will automatically attack them, which is very convenient for maintaining positions like this, where making sure only one troll can come at me at a time. Red's down to 5 hit points. That's super handy. That troll's at 2 at least. Oh, jeez. Okay, they're both unconscious. That's good. I've never had 2 fighters fall unconscious before. That's very, very not good. Okay, the ogres, they're both running in fear. This is not preferable. Please don't stand up, trolls. Actually. Okay, no trolls should stand up. I should be standing on their corpses. If I'm standing where they died, they can't get up. He's at 13 hit points. Seven hit points. Come on. Come on. Oh darn, out of arrows. I used all 20 magic arrows in this fight. I've never done that before. From both characters. Yep. Oh jeez. Okay. Jeez. Leather armor and 2 magic user skulls. Yep, worthless magic items. These magic items are random. They could be good magic user skulls if I'm super duper lucky. But, goodness. I'm just going to have to rest for a very long time. Oh, the final dragon at the end of this? Oh, that's a great way to do it. You do it, kind of do it just like in The Hobbit. You rely on sneakiness, burglary. Didn't realize he had that many hit points. Should pay more attention. Oh well. Okay, time to get out of here. Okay, first of all, we have a potion to deliver to Olo. Oh yes, I totally told you to go get that for 600. That's a lot of experience. A composite short bow. That's probably like, if I got 600 experience for it, it's got to be like +3 or something. That's pretty absurd. Yes, there is actually. If I get any item that has fireball on it, especially a necklace of missiles, that totally changes the gameplay. I should have pooled first. Composite shortbow +2, which isn't bad. Not as good as I thought it was, but still very nice. Composite shortbows don't really do much in this game. They just basically allow you to... they have slightly better range than normal bows. Both longbows and shortbows do the same damage as well, which is one of the kind of silly things. Who took my other leather armor? Oh, I need to identify those magic user scrolls too. Who has those? Okay, now I need to check with those out. If they have fireball on them, I can skip a bunch of things. Because fireball is a spell that does a lot for me. This is basically it right here. This place is closest. You don't really need to, the only thing you need shops for is to sell stuff and identify, and temples work just as well as anything. So, need to pass some time because it's night, and most of the places aren't open at night, including the place here where we train. So the shop I go to at the very beginning is the easiest to access. And then after that, you just come into town and you can train, you can identify your items and sell your stuff at the temple there, as well as change out your money. I'm not going to be able to train, but that. Do I not have enough money? That's hilarious. I thought I pooled and shared my money properly, but I guess I didn't. That's better, 258. Okay. Though that's only one, I can gain 2, can't I? So I need more. Okay. Pool, take, jewelry 5, exit. Appraise, jewelry sell, jewelry sell, jewelry sell, jewelry sell. Okay, that's fine. That should be enough, yeah. The only thing you spend money on in this game is training. After you buy your initial equipment, it really isn't worth it to get any more equipment. I want magic missile. It's still useful for a few things. Okay, that's that. No problem. Listening. Okay, so next, now that I've gained a level, I need to rest. Then we're going to so-called keep. Magic. Memorize. Just more sleep spells. Let's see, I cast less, then I'll do another Cure Light Wounds, just for the heck of it. See, after clearing out, you don't need to worry about inns, you just duck into the slums, and that's a really big deal. So, this is the only semi-required quest in the game. There are a lot of quests you can't do if you don't go to So-Called Keep. It's the only place the boat will take you. There's a phantom here that's a specter that's preventing ships from leaving. And so we have to go investigate and get the spirit to calm down. There are undead patrolling the island, but we give them this password, and they leave us alone. The password is written in runes on a body that you can find searching the area, or you can look it up in guides and stuff. But it's one of the many ways they make use of their copyright protection wheel in this game, one of which I got for a donation incentive that we'll be checking out here soon. That's pretty amusing. But at the very beginning of the game, when you first load it in, there's a bunch of guides you have to, there's a code you have to input that they give you by matching up the runes on this wheel. And then, now this is the really, really big fight. Look at all these orcs. Now, I forgot to check what those magic user scrolls were. I probably should have done that beforehand, because if one of them is a fireball or something absurd like that, then this battle becomes really super easy. Let's see. White has it, right? Nope, white does not have it. White has a short bow +2 though, which is going to myrtleize these guys. But anyway, then there are a few places, like right here, there's this body, and you search it, and it has 3 different code words, and so you only learn which ones go to which person by trial and error, one of which is actually given to you by an NPC anyway for its use, so it's kind of pointless that they have the rune word of it as well, because you can't use it until after the guy tells it to you normally. But there are a couple other places in the game where similar things happen, and then there are... and so, as I say, we'll be seeing one of those in a little bit. This is one of the longest fights in the game because there's a lot of enemies and I don't have any quick way of dealing with them. There's one more gigantic army fight, which is what I grind the fireball for, because it is possible to get fireball before having to deal with them, and it makes the whole thing a lot smoother. Previous to these new strategies and techniques I've had, my PB was almost was a 15-minute PB just based on a random magic drop of the Necklace of Missiles from one particular area that we'll be visiting later on. So if I get that, it really changes the run and makes it go a lot faster. That's the most major thing. Some of the drops make it easier if I get really powerful weapons, but they don't change the game in quite the same impact as having a fireball does. Odds of a fireball low, dispel magic is all. Pretty useless stuff. I'm going to just drop them, in fact, so they don't distract me later. In a bit here, I'll be able to start casting my sleep spells. What I really love is that the orc archers are in the middle of the group, so all of these other orcs in the back are wandering around looking for ways to get to us, and they can't do anything. Let's see, a little bit more gather, and then we can start sleeping them, I think. You're not quite bunched up enough to make full advantage of sleep. The loss of 2 guys. Unconscious people do not get experience, so red and blue both being down is really putting a crimp. Right now they're all level 3, but they're going to be way behind getting to level 5. And sadly, I don't think it's going to give enough to the mages and the cleric to really make a difference. Eventually, they'll catch up. It's not super duper bad. They'll reach level 5 roughly the same time because we just get so much experience. But I'll probably get level 4 with green from this encounter, but I won't with red and blue. And I just use colors for the names so I can identify who's who really quickly and remember who they are. The game is really convenient. Just like Chronicles of the Sword, this is a run I developed and devised all on my own. And so it's natural for me to start the game upon beginning the adventure. It's what starts it into it. It makes it really convenient because you can save the game before you start it. So every time I just load up the fresh game where I've already made the characters and I can just go. And then if I need to do edits, I can load up the game and edit them, or I can just create them brand new. And I can prep all that long before the run actually starts. Okay, it's about time to start casting sleep spells into these hordes, especially now that the archers have run out of arrows. Yeah, it's a little disconcerting, the total lack of sound in this game, but we're not actually missing very much in the way of sound. There are like 5 sounds that play over the course of the game. There's a different sound for hit or miss of an attack. There's a death scream sound, a step when you take steps, and a spellcast sound, and that is about it. And they're super duper simple sound files. SSI didn't believe that music was anything that video games needed when it came out with its games. I think some of the much later Gold Box games have some sound. Yeah. But so, because it does get a little bit too quiet and dull, I do like to have some sort of just random video game, role-playing game music in the background to add a little bit of ambience to it. So it's not just me talking. Already got all them. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's been a while since I played them, so I don't really remember. Picking up the speedrun was about the first time I'd played this game in over 15 years. Yeah. Yeah, and that shows just from how much time it takes to you know, how much time I save just from the game going quicker with the sound off. If this game did have background music, I'd leave the sound on because it just feels right. But it's the lack of, you know, no music just makes me think whatever. Okay, that wasn't too bad a fight. Nothing worth taking on them. Okay. We parlay to these ghosts and we say Lux, and they like us. They give us gems. They tell us that, you know, some of their regrets and things. This game used a journal that, in order, because there was only so much room for dialogue, they gave you a journal and told you to look in the journal at certain times, and so that you could read what was going on, and they didn't have to have as much text in the memory. There were several games that did this. It was a really clever use of the resources. In order to prevent you from reading ahead about everything, they had a lot of fake journal entries, which could lead you astray. So we find out that the ghost is haunting the area because of the monsters taking over, and when he learns from us that the people of Flan are returning and trying to take the city back, he's super pleased and tells us that he'll stop bothering ships now and will go away, and tells us where to find some magical arms and armor that will aid us in our quest to defeat the monsters and save the city. So this is pretty valuable magic items, including a mace +2. Having +2 items in this game is really, really good. I can drop my original shield as well. And drop my longsword, okay. So he also gives us a new password to give to the skeletons. And we're done with this. We return home. We've completed this quest. There's actually a lot of interesting concepts, too, in the interaction between people. You don't just run into random monsters. You can bluff your way past monsters. They can run away from you. You can try to order them around or plead for your life or try to run away from monsters before the encounter starts. Running away after a battle starts is a major pain, but fleeing before a battle begins is sometimes very feasible. So boom, that's a 1300 experience boost there. This guy wants us to find his family heirlooms. Depending on how our luck goes, we may go do that, but we're not going to give them to him because he's an evil bad guy, and we have better use for it anyway. Okay, just pop into here, pool, view items, identify the mace in order to trade our money out, share. What are we looking at? 366, that's good. He can't level up, he can. He can level up. He can level up both, so he needs a little bit more money. He didn't get a lot of money. Oh. Pool share. 418. Okay, that's good. No, we can't train up our magic users. What am I doing? They will level up, though. And usually they'll be level 3 fighters at the same time as the full fighters because of the experience they missed. Kind of convenient. Okay. Plus, Old Person is a very useful spell in some instances. I don't use it too often, but it definitely can make some differences. How many more days do I have to rest? Okay. Okay, Kuto's Well. Couple of good sources of experience here that are fairly quick. The encounters can be bad, though, so I definitely need to save the game a lot. If I get into encounters, they're long and I'm going to reload. This is a set encounter, so I can deal with them. They're pretty easy. We're all on quick combat already, so we're just going to dispatch these lizards pretty quickly. Sometimes they do some damage to me, but I'm high enough level now that I don't care too much about a little bit of damage. Early on, of course, you can get killed in 1 or 2 hits, even if you're a 14 hit point fighter. The maximum hit points you can have at first level. Let's see. This stuff is mostly just for selling. Quarterstaff bracers. Oh, bandit mail. Wait, that isn't for selling. That's going to go to Red, who's generally my frontline fighter. Give your chainmail to Green. So now he can upgrade. Okay. Otherwise, it's a quarterstaff and bracers. Uh-oh. I forgot to save, so I'm going to have to fight these guys. Gnolls there are a lot of them is the problem, but this should go relatively quickly with auto combat. One of the weird things about this game is that if you choose to run away before combat, different areas make different things happen and different situations. If you surprise the enemy and flee, they just disappear. You make them run away or something. Or if they want to avoid you and you flee, they will run away first. And so you're fine. But if it's an enemy like this that doesn't surprise you, that you don't surprise, that just are ready for combat, and you flee, while in Kuto's Well, we will go to a random place and our map will be disabled. So at that point, we're likely to get lost. It's really hard for me to figure out where I am from there. I have nothing to reorient myself with very much, and so it can waste even more time. So that's why a lot of times I'll just save and reload. So I should have saved after that loot. I usually don't get encounters in this house, so I didn't think of it, but worth a little bit of experience. I guess that sort of makes up for what we did, but that was a 1 minute time loss. These encounters are set. One of the interesting things about First Ed AD&D is sweep attacks, which you're just seeing in action here. Enemies that, once your fighters get above level 1, when they attack multiple small enemies in melee combat, they will sweep a number of enemies next to them equal to their level, up to, the total number of enemies there. So kobolds at this point will get cleaned up really quickly in melee because they can kill up to 3 a round if they get lucky. We got 2 there, plus a couple of arrow shots. These guys are going down fast, no worries. Now we climb down the ladder. It immediately asks us if we want to climb back up. Kobolds come and shoot us. They actually hit us. That's surprising. I've only been hit twice in all the times I've played this game. This is actually a place where fighters are good. So this guy's the leader of bandits who live under the well. Yeah, I'm going to target there. Ah, darn. Hold person was resisted. Hold person's powerful in that it can completely immobilize up to 3 enemies if you target them all, if they're people. Unlike sleep, it's single target, so you can be, a lot more. You don't have to be careful about where you throw it. You'll just throw it at people. And also it has a magic longsword. Now we can rest under the well just fine. Also, here's the bandit's loot. We'll collect that for more experience and money to train with. Time to rest up. Let's see. Now I'm going to want magic missiles. Whoops. Let's see. Bless and person were used. Not successfully. So this is a quest that is never given to you. They never tell you that they want you to go and clear out Kuto's Well, but you come and kill the leader here under Kuto's Well, and they will reward us for it. Another group of experience, which will get us ready for the next quest. We climb back up the rungs. Do we want to climb back down? No. Good. Made it out of Kuto's Well just fine. Now, we're perfectly safe here in the slums since we've cleared it out. There's one encounter I didn't do, which is not really a combat encounter, so I didn't have to. Alrighty, and now these guys can level up. First I need to trade out money. Okay. Pool money. Identify something, anything. Sell the bracers for 9,000 gold. Now we have all the money we'll need for pretty much the rest of the game. Or close to it. 5,000, yes, good. This was just enough experience to get us to level 3 as mages. We want Stinking Cloud. We want Stinking Cloud. I don't think I can train my cleric. Nope. How to train your cleric. How to train your fighter. Okay, so that's all the training we can do for now, but we've got a lot more training. Green has nearly maximum hit points. Red got a lot lower. Okay, memorize my Stinking Clouds. Stinking Cloud is a very powerful AoE spell that can put multiple people to sleep, or cause them to choke and gag, rather, but it's the same as sleep. They're helpless, and cause them to at least choke and gag. Let's see, we want to go west. Red will pay, doesn't matter. So now we're out in the wilderness. There's a particular area we want to go for. They don't normally give you this quest for a long time, but it's actually extremely easy. And it's worth a huge amount of experience, plus gives some really good loot, a chance at some game-breaking loot, so this is our next destination. When you have a guide telling you where to go, it's super easy. It's a teleport maze, but it's pretty simple. This is the only place you need to turn. It's right here. And then every time you arrive, you throw a rock, move on. And we're coming up on the incentive, which got met early, I saw, for being killed by the copyright protection boss. I was talking a little bit about earlier about how they use this code wheel to as copyright protection at the start of the game. And this is where they do the most amusing thing with it. So we're going to save here so that I don't lose too much of the game. But here behind this door, you see a sign over the door in front of you. It says, "Don't forget the password." This is followed by 6 dwarvish runes. So we're supposed to use our code wheel to translate the word that these runes are. And if we get it wrong and we say ASDF, do you really mean ASDF? Yes. Suddenly, a hidden door bursts open and a horrible monster bursts forth shouting, "Yai, yai, 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 yai!" It wades into you, tearing you apart with 3-inch long claws. Red dies, blue dies, green dies, silver dies, gold dies, and white dies. The entire party is killed. No damage, no combat, no picture of this horrible mutant lizard thing. It just comes out and kills you because you put in the wrong password. Sorry, don't pirate our copy, in other words. And then it kicks you out of the game, so I have to reload. No worries. And so here's the normal thing. When you get it from good old games like I have, GOG.com, they disable that, but they don't disable the in-game copyright protection boss, so you better know that password. We've learned our lesson, so now we're going to give the password correctly. Knock, knock. Do you really mean knock, knock? Yes. We're safe. It's just totally absurd that it's just, you're all dead. And it gives a vivid description of why, but just, you're dead. No damage. Everything else in the game does damage to you before you just die, but this, you just die. So now, this is the wizard's evil equipment, which he's using to pollute the river and make Mutant Lizard Man. We're just going to ignore it, because we don't need to destroy it. Because destroying it takes time, and also we could possibly get blown up by it and take damage. We don't want to do that. Instead, we just want to come and kill the wizard. Chokes and gags, and the battle's won. He's a relatively dangerous wizard, but when you can instantly put him out with a with a stinking cloud like that, it's pretty easy. Okay, he has some more loot, including more bracers and a wand, as well as potions of healing and a potion of speed, which could be potentially useful. Okay, let's see, I took 3 points of damage, so I need to rest for 3 days. Oh, 2 points of damage is all. Okay, now we're going to go raid his treasure hoards. He has a teleporter to 3 different rooms. Two-handed sword, short sword, and lucerne hammer. Not great. If the two-handed sword is +2, that's nice, but probably not. This is where I can potentially find a necklace of missiles and totally turn the game around. Ring, magic user scroll, compulsive longbow. Composite longbow is probably pretty good. Not game-breaking, but good. Okay, change the setting to gold now. One more chance for uber loot. No more rings and a longsword, so just some weapons and stuff. Okay. Well, not game-breaking. The magic user scroll might be the best if it has fireball or haste. Those are both really, really good. Now we can teleport out. Head north and leave, and we're all done with Yarash. And even though we didn't destroy the evil equipment, oh, the river's become clean. Yay, we've saved the river. They don't normally give you this quest for a long time, but again, you don't need to get a quest in order to complete it. And it's a lot easier than they seem to think it is. They think this is like an endgame quest. We surprised a group of bandits we don't care about. How scuffed is the audio? Did it happen because I had to reload? Oh, that's okay. So nothing I can do on my end? Haha. Okay, so 5,000 experience for that, which is huge, especially in the early game. They want to give me the stuff. I don't take any of the loot, but I accept the quest to get the experience for it. Because, you know, always get the quest. Alrighty, and now with that, I should be able to reach level 5 with all my characters. With my 3 fighters, anyway. Let's see. I think I can make level 4 with the cleric. I can't do anything with the mages yet, though. Da 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 da. I'm going, so you should be hearing me. Okay. Well, guess nothing I can do about that still. Okay. Training. Oh, first I want to examine the stuff I got, see if any of it's any good. Pool, so I can get my money changed out. Ring of protection +1. Longsword +2, which is handy, and short sword +2. Get rid of the stuff I don't want or need. I like longswords more than maces. We'll trade the mace to blue. Trade the short sword to green. Trade the ring of protection to gold. What have you got? A magic longsword +1, doesn't matter. Composite longbow +1 is pretty good. One of the reasons we want to change out money, of course, is that money weighs you down a lot, so it's, oh, it was Blue who got the new bow. Yep, short bow +1, longbow drop, yes. So exit. Items. Wear that for a bit of extra protection. Okay, and ring of protection +1 again. Mana paralyzation bracers, I know all that. Trade to silver. And ready. Okay, there's some good stuff. Alrighty. Okay. Now training. Now we're all level 5 fighters and level 4 fighters. I think I can also be a level 4 cleric. Yep, good. Okay, now I need to go collect a fireball now if I don't already have one. Protection from evil and ray of enfeeblement. Nope, useless scroll. Drop. Okay, so now we're going to go and do what the one guy wants us to do, which involves getting his family's heirlooms. We're going to steal them because he's a bad guy and we are not. We are righteous people, so we're going to steal from the bad guy. Surprised by nulls. Don't want to accept that. Sorry, gonna take too long. Quicker to reload. Okay, load B. Sometimes I get super lucky with encounters, sometimes I get super unlucky. Okay, well, I know relatively where I want to go, so... Oh, come on! Okay, I'm just gonna fight them. I'm one step from the frickin' way out, so we're just gonna kill. Ha 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 ha! Nice, yep. New episode will be out tomorrow. We've taken a little bit of damage again. Doesn't matter that much. We've got good weapons at least. A bunch of +2s. I've rarely had this many good composite longbows and +2 melee weapons. I've had a few +3s on occasion, like 1 +3 and maybe a +2, but 3 +2s is really nice. Okay. Now this library is totally safe, so I can even rest up here just to make sure that we're fine. So let's rest for another week or so and get all our hit points back. Oh wow, yeah, you got a lot to catch up on. Episode 8 of the original campaign. Okay, here, very dangerous encounters here, so I'm going to need to save often. Because if I get attacked by... Oh yeah, this fight. This is a set fight. I need to do it anyway, so it doesn't matter that I came a little bit early. Second campaign, okay. So you're not that far behind. You don't have 100+ episodes to get through. It's always... I was raised on first edition D&D. My mom and dad taught me to play D&D when I was a little kid. I made my first character when I was 5 years old. So I'm used to first ed D&D, but I definitely... so I have some nostalgia here, but it's almost impossible to play first edition D&D if you weren't raised in that kind of situation. It is so bad in its rules. Much more fun, definitely, to hear how they're dealing with second ed, or fifth ed now. second head. Wow, I don't know. I'm tired too. I need to go to bed. Alrighty, so this ogre has the box we're looking for, so we have to deal with him. Now with Stinking Cloud, it's a really interesting thing that the AI is smarter in Pool of Radiance than it is in the later games like Curse of the Azure Bonds. The AI is programmed to avoid Stinking Cloud and not go into it and such things. In Pool of Radiance, they just won't walk into it at all. Same goes for your characters when they're on quick combat, or if you have any NPCs. However, in Curse of the Azure Bonds, they aren't programmed that way. They'll run right into a Stinking Cloud, immediately start choking and gagging both sides. So it's a little bit harder to use, but a little bit more useful. But definitely, has its place. It's going to be a major thing for us in the next penultimate fight too, the next final battle. Clean out the rest of these guys. No, they don't have anything. Now we're going to open the box. Silver is going to get some nice new gauntlets of ogre power, which are the only thing of value in this box, except for a little bit of money. That's the whole thing we did for. Plus we get 2,000 experience, which is a lot. Save again, because we don't want any bad encounters. Now we come to this temple and fight this crazy shaman lady. Good. Cleric is held, battle is won. That is a cleric, so it's a potentially dangerous fight. Now, as I say, before I used to just train up a mage level 5 to get Fireball, then I got the Necklace of Missiles and didn't need that, and it made it go so much faster. This is not a Necklace of Missiles, it's cursed, we don't want it. But these Magic User Scrolls, one of them has Fireball on it, so I figured out, I looked around at treasure that was available in the game and finally figured out this is a guaranteed scroll of Fireball, so this is what I need to win the fight that I'm determined to get through quickly, and so it's my major aim in this portion of the game. Now I can go collect the uber magic item I need to win the game, and then go win the game. We are fine in levels and everything else, really. Let's see, memorize. Now we just need magic missile, because sleep is going to be... No, actually, not. Sleep is going to be relatively useful going forward. Also, I'm going to get more spells in a minute here, so we do want sleep after all. Bless, detect magic, hold person, hold person. Rest for a few more days. Bad that I had so many bad encounters there too. Usually when you clear out Kuto's Well, you're more likely to get enemies who want to avoid you, but I had like 3 encounters in a row where they were just bloodthirsty. Okay, into here, yes, pool. Identify some items. White has them as usual. Nope, doesn't. Did I give him to gold or did I give him to somebody weird? I gave him to somebody weird. Why did I give him to who? Yes. Another potion of healing, which I can potentially use to save a bit of rest time, although it probably won't. Okay, trade to gold, trade to white, so I can more easily tell which is which and who has the fireball. That'll make it a bit quicker. Good reason to have two mages. 337, so he can level up to, oh yeah, 10,000 is enough to level up to 4. Not enough to level up to 5 though, and not enough to level up to 6. Blue's the one who survived, not green. Okay. Let's see. We don't need to go into the... We're going to just to get him out of the way. He's mad at us. We didn't complete a quest though since we opened the box, so we don't get... Doesn't matter what I learn. I don't use any spell but Stinking Cloud from 2nd level. In certain circumstances, I might want to learn Knock, but I really don't need it for the speedrun. I don't know why I'm training here. I can't train any fighters. I'm actually done training for now. I'm not going to train anymore for the rest of the game. I'm at my levels. Okay, so I need to go memorize my new spells, though. Memorize. Stinking Cloud and another Magic Missile. Magic Missile, Stinking Cloud. Scribe, Burning Hand. So gold has the Fireball Scroll. Boom. You can use scrolls to scribe them and add them to your spellbook so you can cast them, or you can use them to cast the spell once and it's gone, which I've done before with Magic Missile. We want to go to the... Oh wait, no, we don't want to go anywhere yet. We need to go collect the other portion of our quest and get our bonus cleric. So there was a temple to Tyr, and it was defiled by the Bainites, servants of Bane, the evil god of death of the Forgotten Realms, before he was killed and replaced by a couple of others. More about that in Baldur's Gate 2, actually. But Bane is the primary main villain and evil god of the original Gold Box series, so... Anyway, the clerics of Tyr ask us to take this cleric Durton to the temple and clear it out of the bad guy so he can reconsecrate it as a... Oh, whoops, that was not what I wanted. Hey, I took the vote back. Oh, dear. Okay, we need to go south. Southern area, so... Oh yeah, the band mail +1 and shield +1. That's right, that is enough. Okay. Durton cast a bless spell for us. We need to do two things to ensure that we won't get any encounters on our way out. One of them is to attack these guys. They go down rather quickly. Oh, I only have one sleep spell each, huh? We'll just kill them. Durton's going to cast Hold Person on a few for us. Hopefully we will kill them all off before he casts Prayer, because I want to save Prayer for the big battle. Unfortunately, any NPCs in your party are totally controlled by the enemy, or by the AI, I mean, so you don't get to do anything with them. Now, this area is safe. In Kuto's Well, if I run away, I wind up in a random place. Here, I just back up one step and can continue on. So, encounters are generally not an issue in this area. They just slow you down slightly. Now, here's whether I got RNG or not. I did not. So I have to fight again. And hopefully once again I'll kill them before he casts Prayer. Because I want to keep... Nope, he casts Prayer. Darn. Well, it lasts a long time, so maybe it'll last through the next fight as well. It's kind of... You can't really tell always. In this game, they don't tell you how long your buffs are going, so... I really have no clue except for... I just hope that it's still going, because I am not spending a lot of time. Okay, so gold has the scroll, so I'm going to get that ready. Save the game. Did I already cast the second bless? I did. Okay, here we go. So these guys attack either A, when you leave, or B, when you loot all three special places. Now I need to disable Bane, which or Mace is his name, the Cleric of Bane, because otherwise he's going to do nasty, nasty things to us. He'll cast Hold Person and paralyze our guys. If I damage him, he won't be able to cast this turn, so I'm just going to guarantee that. Let's see, Shortbow +1, go to Short Sword Shield instead. Get a bunch of damage. Cast Fireball. Look at all these orcs. Look at all these orcs. There's so many orcs. Whatever will I do? Maybe I'll do this. This is the entire reason I want a fireball before this battle, because there's so many orcs. And it's so much easier to deal with them this way than trying to do anything stupid, while also trying to deal with a cleric who can cast Hold Person on my party and therefore paralyze them. Yeah, Fireball is absolutely absurd spell. Okay, he's dead, so now it's just cleanup of these mini guys. And actually, my guys are high enough level now that I don't have to worry about sleeping them. That's the good news. I've gotten rid of enough of them that it's already in a situation where it's not big. Oh, how he shouldn't have been slept. Oh, that's bad. Not super duper bad, but kind of bad. Because he's still only level 4, I guess. Okay. Now, as long as he doesn't get shot with arrows, he at least there's nobody around who can attack him. Especially if I do something like this to protect him. Bit of overkill since there's nobody actually there, but it'll keep anyone from running up next to him. That's right, Archer. Keep shooting non-silver targets. Spiritual Hammer! Okay. That's the last major fight done. Now we have a couple of trapdoors to search. Let's see. Well, the only thing that matters is the Magic User Scroll. Don't care about that one. Durton leaves our party to take care of everything. Open trapdoor. Okay, here is the most important one. Let's see. A Wand of Magic Missiles, in case I want to use that. And Dust of Disappearance. As well as many potions. With Dust of Disappearance, the game is very much in hand. Dust of Disappearance is an extremely broken item. As you're going to see, it gives improved invisibility to the entire party that doesn't go away when you attack or cast spells. Invisibility in this game is incredibly broken. We didn't take any damage in the fight. That's pretty incredible. Magic missiles, magic user scroll, importantly. And potion. Okay, speed potion, we're going to trade to blue. Dust of disappearance. My experience is not going to be high enough to do really anything, though. So yeah, so... Gonna go ahead and take the reward, just mostly to get it out of the way. Because I'll have to go through it at some point anyway, so... Okay, now it's time to go take on Tyranthraxus, the person leading the monsters that have taken over the city. He's a powerful foe with a bunch 12 8th level fighters as his companions. I have 3 5th level fighters. Sounds like a fair fight. First I have to make it through Kuto as well. No encounters. Hodal Plaza. There's a auction going on. We can disguise ourselves as monsters. That way monsters that see us won't attack us. Our charisma determines that. We're fine. Okay, now we go into the gate, which goes to the castle. We talk to this nice little wagon. They sell us their wagon for 250 gold. We can sneak into the castle this way. We bribe this bugbear with 15. Okay, that doesn't happen often. We failed a charisma check, I guess, and they saw through our disguise. That's some bad RNG right there. I've had some really rough RNG this run. Okay, where's my... No, that. Come on, that. Okay, gonna save here this time. Parlay, yes. There's been like twice in all my runs where they've gone through my disguise. So I pay them, they let me through. Now I head north into the castle. I come in here to disguise myself as monsters again. These nice laundry ladies give me clothing to use as a disguise. Now I don't have to worry about encounters here. This allows me to sneak into the castle. I get the password, which is Rhodia. Now I need to get my map back. There we go. This is the one area in the game I still need a map for. This hedge maze. I'm almost totally memorized it, but I'm not fully confident, so I just use the map. I glance at it when I need help, basically. But I need less and less. Yeah. That's it. Invisible door here, up these stairs. Don't go down those stairs. There's other stairs to the right, or to the left. We go up these stairs. And this is it, the final room of Tyranthraxus. Okay. Use Potion of Speed. Use Potion of Giant Strength. Ready Shield. Oh, and most importantly, use Dust of Disappearance. Okay, ready, use Potion of Speed. Some potions you can use without any hands, some require free hands. I don't know why. Who else has anything that needs using? You're going to have that. You're going to want to use that a bit. Okay, we're good to go. And here we go, final battles. So, the wonderful thing about invisibility is that if they're next to you, they can attack you. But if they can't see you, they don't even know where to approach, even if their companions can see you, so they're just going to stand there. So they have 87 hit points, which is a lot to get through. But if I use things like Hold Person and Stinking Cloud and paralyze them, they'll be one shot. Oh, call. 3 Hold Person successes. That is so great. Let's do that again. Oh. Okay, anyone not helpless? Are they all helpless? That's amazing. Okay, you. Nope, didn't work. Oh well. Most of them are. 2 are not. Yeah, just shoot him. At this point, it's much better. Oh, he's... A7 hit points, and I take them out in one shot, thanks to Stinking Cloud. And not helpless anymore. Okay. One more Hold Person. Darn. After the 3 hit, they all resisted. Oh well. Finish them off. There are only 2 left. Okay. Now, invisible people just broke in. They just slaughtered all of his guards, and now they are amazingly going to loot those guards and take their stuff, because why not? You don't need to bother. You have a +2 bow, so that's probably better. Tyrant Thraxus is so impressed by these invisible people that he asks them to join him. Each party member votes separately, and and amazingly, anyone who chooses to join Tyrant Thraxus starts this battle as an enemy and is removed from the party. It's actually a really clever little thing there, but it's like, why? Now, the dragon wants to breathe on us, but because we're invisible, we can't be targeted by spells. And the AI is not good enough to target like an area near us or in front of us or behind us, and that's it. He's dead. Not time yet. Time comes up when I turn in the final quest. Mortally wounded, the dragon roars. The spirit of Tyrant Thraxus flares up from the dragon's body. You can't skip this text, so I always read it dramatically. Fools, you have but slain the body I possessed. I cannot be defeated. With the power of the pool of radiance which I moved here to my lair, I will still rule by possessing one of you. No, Lord Bane, I can still rule here. I have not failed. Do not call me back to the pool. So now we return to Flan in triumph. The monsters are afraid of us. We go in and tell the council clerk what we've done. And she says, here is your reward, time. And now, as she told us, we can continue playing the game, adventuring, doing other quests we skipped. But at this point, the game is completed. If I save the game and remove my characters from the party, I can't use them in Pool of Radiance anymore. I can transfer them to Curse of the Azure Bonds, the sequel. But they are considered completed characters. That is a really horrible time on my new strats. It's still 12 minutes under the old estimate I gave, but that is shockingly bad compared to how I've recently changed things just in the past week. So thanks for watching my 2 runs, and all of you who stuck through both of them, hats off to you. That was AD&D Pool of Radiance, one of the oldest games you'll see speedrun, I think. One of the oldest. Thanks for watching me, and thanks for supporting Extra Life. Get more of those donations in. We still got a day to go. I am probably going to go to bed now, and I'm sure a couple of these guys who've been up a while are going to join me. So thanks for everything, and I will see you all later.
All right, thank you to MSKain for that wonderful run of Dungeons and Dragons Pool of Radiance. Coming up next, we have Mad Father, run by Linkemeister. And then also coming up, we have Commander, running Mario Kart Wii 32 tracks. Going along with the Mario Kart Wii, we do have a couple of incentives that you guys for. There is the Racer Choice. Right now, in the lead for Racer Choice is Yoshi with $1. And then the Playstyle Choice is Strategic is currently in the lead with $1. So if you guys want to change any of those, be sure to bring your donations in.